Okay, let's re-identify. I forgot to hit the record button. So here we go. I am plaintiff attorney, Mr. Morrissey.
I am the witness.
I am attorney for defense 1, Mr. Anderson.
I am attorney for defense 2, Mr. Daly.
Defense 1 begins.
For the record, well, let me ask you this. Were you scheduled to take another load up to Hunt Wesson on Sunday?
Well, like I say, when you get back, as soon as you get back, you're scheduled out to pick up another load.
When you got back after you had talked to the parts man, did you ever think about possibly going back and picking up another load and going back to Hunt Wesson?
I was afraid of the truck getting hot on me, so I said no, I just wanted it fixed.
Did you take the truck into Canal Motors on the following Monday?
I don't recall what day it was, but it was during the week because I only work during the week.
Do you know how long you had it in the repair place?
I know I had it in there, and I waited all day for an adjuster to come, and he never did. So it had to stay there another following day, and the job was in Merced. So it was kind of why take it clear down to Merced, which is another 90 miles, and then have to come back to let the adjuster see it the following day.
I'm confused. Why would you be going to Merced? You indicated you were going to take another trip, or you were going to take another trip but decided not to.
I had it all ready to get it fixed, the truck, and I waited and waited and waited for the adjuster, and the adjuster never did show up.
Who was the adjuster? Was this your insurance adjuster?
The name of the adjuster, I think, was Executive Adjusters in Fresno. I think were the ones. Then they came early the following morning, and I was there.
Are these adjusters, were the adjusters for your insurance company?
They were going to look at the damage, yes, and give it the okay. I thought everything would be okay just by the way they told me just to take it and get it fixed.
Who told you to get it fixed?
As I understood it, Hunt Wesson was the one that gave me the impression. This man gave me the impression.
This is the floor operator or whatever?
Because his man was the one that told Mr. Van Buren to back up.
When you say this man, that's the man who signed this paper?
Yes.
Which we've called Defendant's Exhibit 1. So you waited all day and this adjuster who was going to give the okay did not show up?
It was too late for anything.
So you waited the next day, took it back?
No, I left the truck there.
It was repaired the next day?
Well, they started on it the next day. They wanted me to leave it an extra day, but I wouldn't do it. They wanted to pop the rivets and pop the paint off. I wouldn't let them do it. I wanted to get back to work because only in the summertime is the time when we get our,
That's when you make your money?
That's when we make the money. I didn't want to tie up the truck any more than I had to. The truck ain't been painted yet.
If I understand you correctly, you took it back to the dealer the following week. You waited all day, one day, and the adjuster didn't show up, and the next day it was repaired?
No, it wasn't repaired. They started repairing on it.
So the following day they started repairing. Did they finish the next day, or just how long was it in the shop?
They started that particular afternoon, which was after 1 o'clock, and they worked on it the following day. I think it took 3 days.
Is that counting the day the adjuster didn't show up?
Let me see. I don't know. It's been such a long time. They wanted to hold the truck another 1 day to paint it, but I wouldn't let them.
So it's still not painted today?
It's still not painted to this day.
What's not painted?
The front grille where the rivets go, where they pop them to put the front grille on. Of course, I wanted it painted, but you can't, tie up the truck just for paint.
Did you have any other equipment that you owned at that time?
I have other equipment, yes. I own a set of bottom dumps.
Do you have another truck?
No.
After your truck was fixed, did you go back to hauling tomatoes?
Yes, I did.
Same place?
Same place.
That's all I have.
My name is Brian Daly, and I'm the attorney for Hunt Wesson. I'm going to take you through some of the areas that Mr. Anderson touched on.
That's fine.
There were a couple of questions I had to ask. Now, when you said earlier you normally go back to construction when the tomato season is over, does that mean you would be driving a truck in connection with construction work, or would you be working construction?
I would be working construction with the same truck.
As a truck driver?
Right.
Now, I'm going to have to run you through the sequence of events one more time, having to do with the repair of your truck, because I didn't understand all of it. The accident occurred very early Saturday morning. You returned to Merced, and that afternoon,
That morning.
you called Connell Motors in Fresno. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you said you took the truck to Connell Motors that same day and had the parts man look at the truck?
to make sure that they could repair my truck.
So you didn't work anymore that day and you didn't work the next day, which was a Sunday?
Sunday,
Your truck was idle on that day?
yes,
Did you have the truck repaired at Connell Motors? That's where the repair was done?
yes.
Mr. Fernandez, I'd like to show you a copy of a document I provided with this copy by your attorney, Mr. Pierce. It appears to be an estimate of the work required to be done on your truck. Do you recognize that document?
I think I've seen this document before.
Why don't we have this marked as defendants number 2? It's headed Appraisal Services Unlimited. Do they have any connection to your knowledge with Connell Motors or with executive adjusters?
I don't know.
Do you remember the total repair bill for the damage to your truck from Connell Motors?
I think that's less my deductible, I think.
What's that?
That would be 13 something.
You said it's that less your deductible. What are you pointing to on the exhibit?
My insurance, I have a $100 deductible. I put the first 100 down.
So what was the total bill then?
$1,439.50 according to
Does
this.
that refresh your recollection as to that being the bill?
I don't remember.
When executive adjusters finally met you at Connell Motors, I guess that probably would have been on the Tuesday following the accident at the earliest. Is that correct?
I think it is.
At the earliest. I assume you went there on Monday and they didn't show up all day?
Yes.
And then they showed up on Tuesday?
They started to work on it late that day, that afternoon.
Late Tuesday afternoon?
I think that's what it was, yes.
Did executive adjusters prepare an estimate of the work needed to be done on your truck?
It was between him and the parts man. The only thing I can remember was I had to come up with the $100 deductible.
Okay.
It was between them. I don't know.
Can we go off the record for a second? Back on the record. Assuming then that the garage began to repair your truck on Tuesday afternoon, on which day would you have taken the truck back into your possession, the truck having been repaired? Assuming that they started on Tuesday afternoon.
I think it was either Thursday or Wednesday afternoon that I took it. It was late in the afternoon. As a matter of fact, it was closing time when I took delivery, and they wanted to hold it back another day for painting, but I wouldn't do it.
Did they do any painting on your truck?
No painting at all.
When you got the truck back, it was late in the afternoon on either.
It was almost at closing time.
All right.
I remember that. As a matter of fact, I helped them put it together. I wanted my truck.
All right. Did you then haul a load of tomatoes on the same evening that you took your truck back?
No, it was too late to go back. Too late to go pick up a load.
So you had to wait until the next day,
Next day.
and then you began hauling again?
Oh, yes. Went back to work for Mr. Hoagland.
Did you resume hauling tomatoes to the Hunt Wesson cannery out in Hayward right away?
Yes, we went back to work.
Had your insurance company told you that the adjuster would meet you at Connell Motors on the day he didn't show up?
Yes, I think he was supposed to get there. As a matter of fact, I think I called my insurance and they called him up. And I think they got word back that they wouldn't be able to make it that particular day, which was late in the afternoon.
I see. Did you ever find out why he didn't show up?
No.
Okay, was it your practice to work on Saturdays and Sundays as well as on other days during the week during the tomato season?
Yes.
You would work all the time?
Uh-huh.
In the process of hauling one load of tomatoes from where you picked the tomatoes up, and I assume that was somewhere around Merced,
Right.
to the Hunt Wesson cannery in Hayward, what would be the nature of expenses that you would incur? For instance, I assume you pay your own gasoline expenses?
I pay my own diesel fuel, yes.
How much would that be for a round trip from Merced to the Hunt Wesson cannery, hauling a set of doubles, as you put it? Is that correct, or 2 trailers?
At that particular time, I don't know what diesel fuel was running for, but I guess I would spend $15, $18 diesel.
Any other expenses come to mind?
Other than wear and tear on the truck, no.
So you would cover your own expenses and you would be paid by Hunt Wesson for the load that you delivered?
Yes.
Now, the complaint that you have filed or that has been filed on your behalf by your attorney indicates that you were deprived the opportunity to work because of the loss of your truck on September 19th, September 21st, and September 22nd. September 19th, if my information is accurate, is a Friday, and the 21st and 22nd were respectively a Sunday and a Monday. Can you account for that?
There's some mistake in the dates, I'm sure, either on their behalf behalf or on my behalf.
You're quite certain that you did not use your truck to haul tomatoes or anything else for that matter between the time of the accident and the time you had it repaired?
Not that I recall.
Did you feel that it was not suitable for hauling at that time? The truck was not suitable?
I wanted it fixed.
Because of what you talked about before with the shutter stats?
The shutter stats and
Was there anything else? You said the shutter stats, and was there anything else?
to get it fixed and get it back on the road.
That's all I have.
Let's go back a couple minutes and we're gonna repeat some of it and then continue on for a bit. About 4 minutes at 2:10. And so let's read in 14s, go to page 9, please. And let's start with that, line 6. This is at 2:10.
Okay, begins with a question by Mr. Daly. For the record, I see. Did you ever find out why he didn't show up?
No,
Okay, was it your practice to work on Saturdays and Sundays as well as on other days during the week during the tomato season?
yes,
You would work all the time?
uh-huh,
In the process of hauling one load of tomatoes from where you picked the tomatoes up, and I assume that was somewhere around Merced,
right.
to the Hunt West and Cannery in Hayward, what would be the nature of expenses that you would incur? For instance, I assume you pay your own gasoline expenses.
I pay my own diesel fuel, yes.
How much would that be for a round trip from Merced to Hunt West and Cannery, hauling a set of doubles, as you put it? Is that correct, or 2 trailers?
At that particular time, I don't know what diesel fuel was running for, but I guess I would spend $15, $18 diesel.
Any other expenses come to mind?
Other than wear and tear on the truck, no.
So you would cover your own expenses, and you would be paid by Hunt Wesson for the load that you delivered.
Yes,
Now, the complaint that you have filed, or that has been filed on your behalf by your attorney, indicates that you were deprived the opportunity to work because of the loss of your truck on September 19th, September 21st, and September 22nd. September 19th, if my information is accurate, is a Friday, and the 21st and 22nd were respectively a Sunday and a Monday. Can you account for that?
there's some mistake in the dates, I'm sure, either on their behalf or on my behalf.
You're quite certain that you did not work, use your truck to haul tomatoes or anything else for that matter between the time of the accident and the time you had it repaired?
Not that I recall.
Do you feel that it was not suitable for hauling at that time? The truck was not suitable
I wanted it fixed.
because of what you talked about before with the shutter stats?
The shutter stats and
Was there anything else? You said the shutter stats, and was there anything else?
to get it fixed and get it back on the road.
That's all I have.
A couple more. This floor man that you talked to after the accident, whose name you believe is Bill Soto, you had mentioned earlier that this floor man had talked with the forklift driver in your presence.
I think you did talk to him, yes.
Do you remember what they talked about?
No,
After the accident, I take it you didn't get any insurance information from Mr. Van Buren at the scene of the accident?
no, because this man took me over there. He gave me the impression that they would take care of it. This is the impression that I got because it was a forklift operator that had asked Mr. Van Buren to back up. This is the impression that I got. I don't know.
We have the usual stipulations there, don't we?
Yes. So I take it you didn't bother asking Mr. Van Buren for his insurance?
After he took me back to the back over here, Mr. Van Buren was, I didn't talk to him no more. I saw him unload his truck and everything, and then he took off.
But it was your impression that Hunt Wesson was going to assume responsibility for this?
I thought it would, yes.
That's all the questions I have.
I have one more, Mr. Fernandez. I would like to show you copies of 3 documents that your attorney furnished me with some time ago. We'll mark this as defendants number 3. They are headed Hoagland's Transport Service in each document. Why don't we mark them 3, 4, and 5? Each document bears your signature. It bears what appears to be your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes.
I'm referring now to defendant's exhibit number 3. Does the handwriting on this document appear to be your handwriting?
I don't know. It don't look like my handwriting.
It doesn't look like your handwriting. Do you remember signing the original of that document?
That's my signature.
Do you remember signing it, sir?
I don't remember. This is my signature too.
May I show you defendant's exhibit number 4? Does that appear to be a copy of your signature?
Uh-huh.
Do you recognize the handwriting on the rest of the document, any of the handwriting?
Those are the amounts of bins that we were hauling.
Do you recognize the handwriting on the rest of the document?
No.
I'll ask you the same questions with respect to defendant's number 5. Does that appear to be your signature or your copy of your signature?
Yes.
Do you recognize the handwriting on the rest of that document?
No.
Do you have any recollection of having signed either exhibits 3, 4, and 5, which I've shown you?
No,
Okay, that's all I have.
That's it.
I've got a couple. I think we're going to use Mr. Fernandez's deposition. Isn't that a stipulation?
We had entered it into it at one time. I don't know if, let's take it off the record here for a second.
Mr. Fernandez, when you went to Peterbilt to have your truck repaired, did you tell them Hunt Wesson was going to take care of it?
yes,
Why did you do that?
because I got the impression from this man that they would take care of it.
With respect to the yards where you were loading and unloading tomatoes, who was directing traffic in the yard?
Another man. There's another floor man that does that
Who did he work for, if you know?
for Hunt Wesson.
Okay, we're gonna stop there, and now we're gonna do some for readback. And if I can connect with you guys, I'll have you do some readback, those of you online. So let's read this now in 18s. And we're gonna go ahead and identify. And we're gonna start at the top of page 14. I am Mr. Morrissey for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I'm attorney for defense 1, Mr. Anderson.
I am attorney for defense 2, Mr. Daly.
Mr. Morrissey is questioning. On the record. Would you follow the directions of the employees of Hunt Wesson?
Absolutely. Even the forklift operators, if they ask you to do something, you do it.
Did anyone at the yard that particular day show you a badge that signified who they were working for or anything like that?
No,
With respect to the lost earnings that you're claiming, how did you calculate the $499.35, if you recall?
by the dates that were lost.
Did you do it by the hour or what?
Well, mostly by the load. If you consider 2 loads a day or 1 a day, whatever, it depends on what time you get out of the cannery.
If you had 2 a day, how much would you have lost then?
Well, you would have to multiply it, more or less the freight bills times 85,000, more than likely. They were running around $170, $175.
So you lost anywhere between 3 times $170 and 6 times $170. Is that what you're telling me?
Excuse me?
Okay, how many loads can you take a day?
We can haul 2 if you get back in time.
Okay, now if your truck had been working, would you have been able to haul tomatoes?
Absolutely.
No doubt in your mind about that?
No, unless I got sick.
Did you get sick?
No.
That's all I have.
I have just one more, Mr. Hernandez. I just want to make sure I understood you correctly before. My impression is you said before this fellow whom you're calling Bill Soto never told you that Hunt Wesson would take care of your loss, but that you had the impression.
The impression he gave me was his man was at fault for asking for Mr. Van Buren back to his truck up. This is the impression I got.
How did you get that impression?
By him saying, just go over there and get your truck fixed. I'm sure that's what he told me to do.
He told you that?
Yes,
When did he tell you that?
the very same night he wrote this out.
Where were you when he told you that?
In his office, I guess, in that room,
He asked you to go somewhere?
to get it fixed.
He told you to get your truck fixed?
I think so, because I had the impression Hunt Wesson was going to take care of the bill, and that's why I didn't bother no more with Mr. Van Buren.
Are you sure he told you that, or do you think he told you that? You understand the difference?
We're looking back, how long ago was that?
I understand. 2 years.
It's a long time.
I understand that. What I'm asking you for is your best present recollection. If you're not sure, I want you to tell me you're not sure. If you're sure, I want you to tell me you're sure.
How can I explain to you when somebody gives you an impression?
Well, I'm not asking you to explain that to me. I just want you to answer yes or no whether you're sure.
I felt confident after I left that Hunt Wesson was going to take care of the bill.
But you're not sure Bill Soto told you that Hunt Wesson would take care of the bill, or that Hunt Wesson was just told you to go get your truck repaired?
Wait a second, that's compound.
My impression from your earlier testimony is that you're not certain that this fellow we're calling Bill Soto told you that Hunt Wesson would take care of the bill for the repair of your truck. Is that correct?
I think he told me that his insurance would take care of it.
Are you sure of that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he's the one that told me. That's why I left so confident, and after I got this paper, I naturally left with some more confidence. I didn't bother Mr. Van Buren. I saw him outside. I didn't talk to him anymore.
Then why did you call Mr. Van Buren 1 or 2 days after the accident, as you've already testified, to get his insurance information if you thought it was already taken care of?
Because the adjusters there, I think it's executive adjusters, asked me to find out who this other man was.
Okay.
Because he might have gotten in contact with Hunt Wesson. I don't know. But he asked me, so I called Mr. Van Buren. Mr. Van Buren refused to give me his name. I called executive. He said, I've got ways to get it.
Thank you. That's all I have.
One more. In a normal week's time, while hauling tomatoes, how many loads of tomatoes would you haul in a week from Merced?
10, 14 loads a week.
This is from Merced to San Leandro.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, read back. Ann, you want to start?
Sure. Question by Mr. Morrissey. Would you follow the directions of the employees of Hunt Wesson? Answer, absolutely. Even the forklift operators, if they ask you to do it. Question. Did
Okay.
anyone
Ask you to do something, you do it.
Question, did anyone at the yard that particular day show you the badge that signified who they were working for or anything like that? Answer, no. Question, with respect to the lost earnings that you were doing, how did you?
Two strokes maybe? Calculate.
Calculate the $439.
$499.35.
If you will.
Mm,
Wait, no.
if you, ends with an L. Recall.
Okay. Answer by
By the dates.
the dates that were lost?
Yes.
Question. Now, in
I have did you do it by the, that's where you are.
did you do it by the hour or what? Well, the answer, well, mostly by the load. If you consider 2 loads a day or 1 load, whatever.
One a day, whatever.
It depends on what time you get out of the carriage. Question, if you had 2 a day, how much would you have lost then? Answer, well, you would have to multiply, more or less.
Multiply it,
More or less, the freight bill times 85,000. More than likely, they
You know, more than,
more than likely, they were running around $170, $175.
okay, careful, those are 170, not, sorry. I just gotta do it.
So that's
You're right. Go ahead.
question. So you lost anywhere between 3 times $170 and 6 times $170. Is that what you're showing me? Answer, excuse me. Question, okay. How many loads can you take a day? Answer, we can haul 2 if you get back.
Good, thank you. Whitney,
Question. Okay, now, if your truck had something, would you
been working,
have been working, would you have been able to haul tomatoes? Answer. Absolutely. Question. No doubt in your mind about that? Answer. No, unless I got sick. Question. Did you get sick? Answer. No. Question. Oh no. Mr. Morrissey?
mm-hmm.
That's all I have. Just one more, Mr. Hernandez?
That's Mr. Daly. I just have,
Oh, I just have one more, Mr. Hernandez. I just want to make sure I understand you,
understood?
understood you correctly before. My impression is you said before this fellow, whom you're calling Bill Soto, never told you that Hunt Wesson would take, there was a reader error.
There was.
Take cars, take care of your loss, but that you had the impression?
Correct.
Answer. The impression he gave me was this man was at fault for something back in his truck.
For asking Mr. Van Bureau back to, Sarita Rare.
Back to his truck. This is the impression I got. Question, how did you get that impression? Answer, by him saying, just go over there and get your truck fixed. I'm sure that's what he told you to do. Question, he told you that? Answer, yes. Question, when did he tell you that? Answer, the very same night he wrote this out. Question, something with
Where
where
were you?
were you when he told you that? Answer, in his office, I guess, in that room. Question, he asked you to go somewhere? Answer, go get it fixed?
To get it.
To get it fixed. Question, he told you to get your truck fixed? Answer, I think so, because I was going to take care of the bill, and that's why I
Just a minute, because I had the impression Hunt Wesson was going,
going to take care of the bill, and that's why I didn't bother with,
no more with,
bother no more with Mr. Van Buren. Question, are you sure he told you that, or do you think he told you that? You understand the difference? Answer, we're looking, oh yeah, answer, we're looking back, how long ago was that? Question, something in 2 years?
I understand.
I understand in 2 years.
I don't have an in. I understand, period. 2 years.
Answer, it's a long time.
Thank you. Kristen,
Question, I understand that. What I'm asking you for is your best present recollection. If you are not sure, I want you to tell me you are not sure. If you are sure, I want you to tell me you are sure. You can explain.
answer, how can I,
Answer, how can I explain to you? Somebody,
when,
when
some,
somebody gives you an impression, question, well, I'm not asking you to explain that. I just want you
to me, I just want you.
To me, I just want you to answer yes or no, whether you were sure. Answer, I felt confident after I left that he,
After I left that
that Wesson,
Hunt Wesson,
Hunt Wesson was going to take care of the bill. Question, but you're not sure. Bill said,
Soto,
Bill Soto told you that, that Hunt Wesson would take care of the bill, or that Hunt Wesson just told you to go get your truck repaired? Mr. Morrissey, wait a second, that's compound, Mr. Bailey. Your earlier testimony is that you are not certain that their Bell are calling,
That this fellow we're calling,
that we're calling, is it Wesson?
Bill Soto.
Bill Soto's told you that Hunt Wesson would take care of the bill for the repair of your truck, is that correct?
Good. Okay. Who online wants to read back? Somebody unmute. Rachel, go for it.
Is it the answer, right?
Yes.
I think he told,
Told me.
told me that his nurse, that his insurance was taking care of,
Insurance would take care.
would take care of it. Question, are you sure of that? Answer, yes. I'm pretty sure that he told me,
Pretty sure he's the one that.
so confident.
That's
And-
how I felt so.
Felt so confident. And I have got this.
After I got this.
After I got this paper, I naturally left with some more confidence. I didn't bother Mr. Van Buren. I saw him outside. I didn't talk to him anymore. Question, then why did you call Mr. Van Buren 1 or 2 days after the accident, as you already testified? As you already testified, to get his insurance information. If you thought it was already taken care of, answer, because
The adjusters.
Because the adjusters there, I think it's executive adjusters, asked me to find out who this other man was. Question, okay.
Good, thanks. I'm gonna
You're
have Brianna, you wanna unmute yourself and go for it? Just a little bit left. Maybe not. Okay, I'm sorry if you're trying to unmute yourself, but I'm not saying you do that. So you know what? We're gonna just go ahead then and finish with this one and move on. Okay? Thank you.
Pencil fighting.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next one will be what we are going to do. We've got some warm up and then we're going to do a 12-minute 200 take out of it. This is not the CSR exam yet.
Carol's pencil was fighting her earlier too.
Take one, pass them down. We have 5 minutes of warm up. I am the plaintiff, Bob Arns, A-R-N-S, Arns.
Good.
I am the witness.
I'm attorney for defense 1, Clyde Small.
I am attorney for defense 2, Mr. Halsey.
Okay, let's start on page 1. And Mr. Small is questioning. Let's read this in 14s.
It's Mr. Small for the record. Mr. Harmon, have you ever given a deposition before?
No, sir.
Well, just a few little things to keep in mind. One is the reporter is taking down every word you say here, and he can only take one person at a time. So we have to kind of control our tendency to talk both at once? I'll try to do it, but you do the same.
Fine.
Second, bear in mind that the testimony may be used later on in court, and therefore it's important to take your time. There's no hurry. You don't have to get good marks for quick answers, and we're all willing to wait while you consider the question.
All right, sir. Very good.
Mr. Harmon,
Before you get started, there seems to be some confusion amongst all the attorneys here, at least some of them. This is Mr. M.R. Harmon, H-A-R-M-A-N, and he is not Alex Harmon with an O. There are two different Harmons who coincidentally are property owners in the same subdivision.
I appreciate
that clarification. I thought we were talking with Mr. Alex Harmon.
we took his deposition before.
I remember that now.
Okay. Mr. Harmon, do you live on Drescher Tract Road?
Yes.
And did you live there at the time of the subject accident on February 28, 1982?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Since January 1st, 1979.
Do you have a number on Drescher Tract Road?
107.
I'd ask that these photographs be marked respectively as A, B, and C to his. Can you make Xerox copies of these to attach to the deposition as A, B, and C to Mr. Harmon's deposition?
Do you know when these photographs were taken?
They would have been, I think, in about March of this year. Okay, Mr. Harmon, I hand you Exhibit A to your deposition. It is a photograph, and do you recognize generally what's depicted there?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
That is, well, just as it says, it is Braun Lane coming down the hill, and then this is a picture looking from the mailbox northward.
Where are we? Whose mailbox?
Mine.
On what road?
Drescher Tract Road.
And do you know about how far it is from the intersection of Braun Lane and Drescher Tract Road and your house?
It's approximately 100 feet, 1,200 feet.
Okay. And do you know where Braun Lane leads generally?
It leads over to the PG&E Power Station 1 and then goes, well, it goes down in below someplace.
That's all right. It goes west over towards the PG&E substation.
And I think you indicated a moment ago that the intersection of Braun Lane with Drescher Tract Road is somewhere around 1,200 feet away from your lot.
Yes, sir.
Did you keep?
He didn't say from his lot. He said from his house.
Additionally, I'm going to object. You are leading the witness.
Well, I can't. I'm examining him under 776.
I understand you are saying you are, but I'm making an objection for the record of leading the witness. I don't think this is proper under 776. I don't think this is under Section 776.
You can make an objection, but I'm party to a cross complaint here.
I understand that. I'm just objecting as to leading the witness. I may be incorrect. You may be incorrect. The judge will decide. Preserve it for the time of trial.
Do you remember the question?
Will you please?
How far away were you, according to your best estimate? How far from this car that you described when you first saw it?
Further objection calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
Can you answer the question?
Yes, sir.
How far?
I was approximately 1,200 feet away.
And did you keep the car under observations after you first noticed it?
Excuse me 1 second. Can I have a continuing objection?
No.
Fine, object. Leading the witness.
Would you ask me that again, please?
Would you read it back, please?
Yes, sir.
And for how long?
Approximately 1,000 feet.
And were you able to form any judgment or estimate as to its speed during the time you observed it?
Object calls for speculation, lack of foundation.
You can answer.
Don't pay any attention to their objections. They are fighting over.
Yes, I can answer that.
All right.
I feel it was going between 50 and 60 miles per hour.
And did it accelerate or decelerate during the time you had it under observations?
Not to my knowledge.
Did the vehicle overturn at any time?
Object, leading the witness.
Not to my knowledge. I didn't see it overturn.
All right. Did the vehicle come to a stop anywhere in the vicinity of your house?
Object, leading the witness.
Again, I didn't see it.
What was the vehicle doing when you turned your attention away from it after watching it go north on Drescher Tract Road?
Object, leading the witness. Also misstates the evidence.
Also, it assumes facts, not an evidence, too, namely that he turned his attention away from it to help you all out. I'll tell you off the record.
Did you lose sight of the vehicle as it went north on Drescher Tract Road?
Yes, sir.
And why?
Due to the 4 large oak trees sitting on the south side of my house.
Did you see the vehicle again after you lost sight of it behind the oak trees?
Yes, sir. It was turned over at the time that I saw it again.
And had it come to rest when you first saw it?
Yes, sir. When I saw it again, it had come to rest.
And where, with respect to your mailbox, did the vehicle come to rest?
Oh, south of my mailbox, across the road and south of my mailbox.
Stop. 776. What code section are they referring to? Have you heard of it? Evidence code, section 776. It is, allows an attorney to call what's called an adverse or a hostile witness. And so typically what that means is they call the witness to the stand. So the questioning should sound like direct examination, but because the witness is not wanting to come forward and testify, can be for many reasons, but they're allowed to lead the witness. So it's important that it's set up. Examination heading is examination under Evidence Code 776. If the attorneys don't set that up on the record, because otherwise it's not really going to look, it's truly not direct examination. Okay. Hostile witness, adverse witness, that's usually what other terms they use for that code section. Okay, we're going to start a 12-minute 200 now. I'm going to pause the recording and restart it. So this is the end of the practice, and now we're going to start with takes.